Okay, let's do this meditation on resensitizing the body. You can close your eyes, you can keep them open. And if you keep your eyes open, just defocus and see everything at the same time. Notice the textures, the colors, the movements or the stillness. It doesn't matter where you are. And slowly travel inwards. Travel all the way down to your toes. And now sense how your toes are experiencing this moment. What is the sensation there? In your heels and your whole feet. How is your whole feet relating to this moment, temperature wise? So there is a sensation. And travel up through your shins and your knees. And that also gives you information of how your knees feel in this moment. And travel further up through your legs to your pelvic floor. Feel your whole legs sensing, becoming alive for the moment, receiving information, temperature, sensation. And then your pelvic floor, your pelvic ball. And see from there the whole reality around you. And there is a sensation, a form of feeling of this moment. And include the legs and the pelvic ball right now. And slowly go to your belly. How is your belly feeling? How it's perceiving this moment. And now go to your chest. And take a deep breath. Fill that chest with air. Okay, 1. Fill it up. And open your hands wide on both sides. And exhale. And take a deep breath. Open your hands. And then exhale. Fill your chest with air. Fill your chest. Spread the hands. Open them wide. And exhale. Notice how little you are breathing before that. Take another big breath in your chest. Stretch so that the chest will open more. Take another breath. Fill the lungs. feel your whole body now, all the way from the toes to the head, participating in the breath. Oh. Oh. And now feel this aliveness in your whole body. And sense with all of you the entire environment around you. The room or the space where you are right now. And go further. Go further beyond that space. Beyond that space. If it's a room, go outside the edges of the room and onto the streets, above the houses and the cities. And keep going in all directions, above mountains, with singing birds and animals, and swinging trees from the rain or the wind. And travel further and further above deserts and desert winds and oceans and rivers. Go beyond the edges of the earth, further and further in all directions. Notice everything happening at the same time. The aliveness, the movement, the sounds. Travel beyond galaxies and space in all directions. Keep going, endlessly going in all directions, including everything, including entire existence. In this sensation of your body and all that it is, everywhere, happening at the same time. Notice how my coughing hijacked your attention, or may have hijacked. And this is what happens. We allow a single thing to steal our attention, to steal our all-inclusive conscious observation of life. What if we made everything, the loud sounds or the worried thoughts or everything, become just a little part of the stream, a little part of everything happening at the same time? Still, stay in this field of sensation. Breathe. Especially breathe if there is heavy feeling or energy or discomfort in your body, in your chest. That is when we breathe and we do not allow the mind to tell us what is the reason to justify or to build more story around it. We take a breath in and we breathe out whatever it is, and we take a breath in and we breathe it out and we stay with it. We don't resist it, or we don't want to know what it is. We just want to let the breath carry it on its wings outside of our body. Connecting to this beingness is what will slowly allow us to reconnect with the intelligence that allows the birds to build their nests without going to school, the bees recognizing the honey flowers and creating these communities, these queendoms. The trees growing towards the sun, allowing light for each other. The plants adjusting to the light available. This is when we remember who we are, and this is how we end up knowing what's our purpose and our truth, because naturally we will be inspired to do things that feel good, that feel natural, that do not exhaust us, that give us more excitement, that charge us to create more of that. So that for others it may appear that we're doing a lot, but for us it feels like we're just flowing with life, we're just being. So it is not dragging to get up and having to do what we need to do in order to be able to live, but feeling lovingly excited and grateful for what we do. This is when we become present with reality, present with what is, present with ourselves, present with others. And this is the only way when that will allow us to create this new earth, new society, new world in which we are very connected and happy, and harmonious, and we stop creating distortions. So stay in this presence, and I will read a quote by Master Eckhart. Do not try to make sense of it. Let it land inside in your whole being. That includes all of your body and the entire existence. Let that quote land and stay there and stay with it. At the heart of mystery. How are we born in God This is a mystery beyond all that we can know. But what we can know is that God is born in us whenever we begin to live without a why. Stay with this. But what we know is that God is born in us whenever we begin to live without a why. The mind wants to grasp on the concept. Do not let that. Just let it stay with you. And then imagine now that you are a rose. Choose the color, the shape, the form that you feel inspired. And as you perceive yourself as that rose, experience the fragrance that's exuding from your whole being, flowing outwards, gifting the world with the gift of fragrance. And now as you feel that fragrance flowing in all directions, realize that when you're being yourself in your truth, it's not coming from the mind figuring out or what you learned in school. It's coming from your natural fragrance that is exuding from your whole being, from your center. Has nothing to do with what we learned, has nothing to do with what we think people need, and everything to do with what wants to flow through me, what flows from me. And if we trust that, the more we trust that, the more we make that pure, unpolluted from the mind, the concepts, the influence of the decisions, the ambitions, the more this fragrance becomes precise, and the more we realize what a gift we are to the world around us. So the journey is to reconnect with the center by this all-inclusive sensitivity that is not disturbed by the ripples of the points of view of the mind or the movements coming from ambition, but are the simple flow that wants to come through us. That flow may be a form of singing, maybe a form of cooking, maybe a form of being present with the world around us, and thus through that presence in our unique way, giving the gift. we must have no point of view or even try to figure out what exactly is, because then we want to put it in the concepts of the language we learned and the rules we learned and the algorithms that we were exposed to as what's right or wrong. See, there is no right or wrong. There is simply a flow of essence. Like the rose has that flow, like the bird has that flow. And when we're in this flow, we are in pure vulnerability too, because we're flowing out our essence. By flowing out, that means there is no barriers for the flow to go out, and no barriers for the divine light, for the unique fragrance of life to come in as well. And this is through vulnerability, that it doesn't come from a concept, from effort. It comes from natural way of being. The mind may go at the beginning in this fear, stress mode. What do I do? What do I do? How do I do that? Relax, stop. Do not pay attention to that. Do not pay attention to that. That doesn't matter. Let the mind do whatever it wants to do. You observe, you still stay in your presence. And what will happen is you'll notice the mind grabbing, like releasing the chemicals. I have to go do this, I have to do this, I have to figure it out. And then you don't pay attention to that. You soften the body even more. And that voice will become weaker. And you will start emerging to the full presence, which is the full awakening, which means we're no longer will be sleeping and sleepwalking, which means we will be in our divine purpose, in our divine presence, light, harmony, reverence to existence. And that is a state that is also very similar to when we're in love. And when we're in love, we lose the edges of the self, and we become one with existence, and we become one with the world, and we are very loving, and we feel we have wings. We want to embrace the whole world when we're in love. So let that in love embrace the whole of life, not just one being. And thank you. You can play this video with closed eyes. It might be better so that there is no distraction the first time, and then the next time you can do it with your open eyes, defocused, while watching everything around you.